Xiao Xiao, the daughter of Xiao Yan and Kai Lin, will become a true sensation. Her talent will shock all the experts around her. Master Yao Lao even expressed a desire to teach her alchemy, and it's no surprise. Being born with the power of an ancestor is not something you see every day. You might ask, when will Master Yao Lao meet Xiao Xiao, whom he will treat like a granddaughter? In fact, it will happen very soon, after the events in the Yan Alliance. Having dealt with all their enemies, Xiao Yan will return to the Falling Star Pavilion, but not alone. He will bring along Queen Medusa, now his lawful wife, and their daughter, Xiao Xiao. This will be a very intriguing event. What will the meeting between Master Yao Lao and Xiao Yan's family be like? The Falling Star Pavilion has already been connected to the Jiama Empire through a wormhole personally created by Yao Lao. This swift passage provided the Yan Alliance with quite reliable support. However, Xiao Yan chose not to publicize the existence of the spatial tunnel, as it could lead to unnecessary problems in the future, given that it links the Central Plains with the northwestern region of the continent. Many would feel genuine envy, so this is the wormhole. The people of Jialin looked at the black hole with curiosity, as it was their first encounter with such a phenomenon. Such passages were rare in their region. Xiao Yan smiled and nodded. Behind him stood Xiao Yixian, Qin Lin, and the venerable Yao Tianhuo. Having resolved the issue with the Spiritual Lion faction, the invited experts immediately returned. Big brother, second brother, we're leaving. If anything happens, you can send someone to the Falling Star Pavilion, Xiao Yan said with a smile to his brothers. They nodded and said in parting, got it, take care of yourself. Xiao Yan smiled, clasping his hands before them. He was the first to step into the wormhole and vanished instantly. Kai Lin, holding little Xiao Xiao in her arms, followed right behind him. The others also entered the passage. Upon arriving at the Falling Star Pavilion, they caused quite a stir, but the meeting between Yao Lao and Xiao Yan's daughter, Xiao Xiao, was particularly striking. She's your daughter, Yao Lao said, looking at the little girl in a white dress. She was clinging to Xiao Yan's leg, staring at the old man with big black eyes. Yao Lao's face showed a surprised expression. Xiao Yan nodded in response. He understood that Yao Lao had been captured by the Hall of Souls during Kai Lin's pregnancy, which is why he was unaware of the situation. Xiao Yan briefly explained everything to him. Unexpected, truly unexpected, Yao Lao said, shaking his head after hearing the story, even with his usual calm demeanor. Glancing at Kai Lin, he remarked, in the past, she truly hated you. If it weren't for me, I'm afraid she would have killed you long ago. Kai Lin immediately blushed. In the past, she had fought with Xiao Yan several times, but she never expected him to be so powerful, though back then he could barely hold his own against her. As a soul, Yao Lao's strength was at the mid-level of a 4- or 5-star ancestor, but now he was a true half-saint, Ban Sheng. Kai Lin, at the 5th star of the Venerable Warrior level, understood the difference in their strength. Xiao Xiao, quickly greet the great master, Kai Lin said gently to Xiao Xiao, patting her head. Hearing her, the little girl blinked, then looked hesitantly at Xiao Yan. Seeing his smile, she nodded and shyly said, great master? When Yao Lao heard the little girl's soft voice, he smiled warmly. He had never had children of his own, but treated Xiao Yan like a son. Given the circumstances, he saw Xiao Xiao as his granddaughter. No matter how powerful a person might be, they undoubtedly have a soft spot for children. Yao Lao approached her, gently placing his hands on the girl's cheeks. Then he patted her head and said joyfully, what a powerful spiritual force. She has an affinity with the fire element, mixed with traces of the wood element. I can say with certainty that she will become a great alchemist. Xiao Yan smiled upon hearing Yao Lao's words. He had already sensed Xiao Xiao's aptitude for alchemy. Her current abilities were not much greater than his own had been, but with proper nurturing, her potential was undeniable. Her spiritual strength is far greater than yours was when I first met you. Moreover, her physique and foundation are much better than yours were. If she is raised properly, she will surpass you in the future, Yao Lao said excitedly, his eyes gleaming just as they had when he first met Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan smiled, listening to his conclusions. Talent and physique are important, but future achievements are determined by perseverance. Xiao Yan had reached his current heights, not because he relied solely on talent. He had broken through and survived countless life and death moments, too many to recall. A true expert relies not only on talent, but also on perseverance. Yao Lao continued to examine Xiao Xiao, pressing on her wrists. At one point, he pressed a bit too hard, causing the little girl to show some displeasure. which made everyone laugh. Why don't I take on her training? Yao Lao asked, looking up at Xiao Yan without any hesitation after completing his examination. Even he couldn't resist such perfect material for development. Xiao Yan smiled and nodded to Yao Lao. He had brought Xiao Xiao to the Falling Star Pavilion precisely so she could train under Yao Lao's guidance. Among all the people he knew, no one could match his master's alchemical skills, and his knowledge and experience were simply invaluable. He was better suited than anyone to be Xiao Xiao's teacher. Xiao Yan understood that while Xiao Xiao's talent was remarkable, talent alone wasn't enough. Yao Lao's genuine affection for her, treating her like his own granddaughter, meant he would nurture her properly, which warmed Xiao Yan's heart. The child crossed the wormhole with you, so let her rest a bit first, Yao Lao said, gently patting the girl's head before reluctantly handing her back to Kai Lin. Queen Medusa, along with Xiao Xiao and the others, then left Xiao Yan and Yao Lao alone. They understood that the master and disciple wanted to discuss something important. Yao Lao said, "Kid, you've given birth to a fine daughter. However, ending up with Queen Medusa was beyond my expectations." Xiao Yan spread his hands. His relationship with Kai Lin had been very complicated. Who could have imagined that Queen Medusa, who had pursued Xiao Yan with intent to kill for so many years, would end up becoming his wife? Yao Lao had already heard about the Yan Alliance's victory and knew the outcome of that battle. The Hall of Souls had sent 2 Tianzuns, so they weren't joking around. However, this time they suffered greatly. The 9th Tianzun was killed, and the 4th Tianzun was beaten half to death. The Hall of Souls doesn't act without reason. That clan has always been mysterious and unpredictable. They are surely carrying out a specific plan to collect souls. Yao Lao noted that war had broken out in several regions of the continent, but there were only 2 weeks left until the start of the Spatial Trade Fair. This was the very fair where the final piece of the Purifying Demon Lotus Flame map was located. Please subscribe, like, and see you in the next episodes.